So this week's question is social media and medicine. Hang on, I just need to just answer my followers. Hashtag meded, hashtag...
Has being a med student changed how you are on social media? Definitely not for you. I would say yes to an extent. I'm a bit more aware of privacy settings and privacy stuff, that side of things. But in terms of what I post, probably not.
Has medicine changed how we use social media? Yes, it has. It needs to. Something very wrong if you weren't conscious of medicine and its demands on social media.
Definitely.
I don't think being a med student has affected how I've been on social media. I mean, everything's secure, privately tight.
Yeah, I've always had like private
Same.
social media accounts.
For sure, being a medical student has completely changed how I am on social media, like without a doubt. I think one of the first things you hear is professionalism when you come to medical school.
One of our first lectures, like them drilling it into us, to be like, you are not like other students, you're on a professional course, like this will affect you for the rest of your life if you make a wrong choice or whatever, which is quite different than I think a lot of like 18-year-olds going into uni would be thinking about their social media. But I probably wouldn't have posted that scandalous stuff before anyway. But,
I don't think mine's really changed since being at uni.
I used to use Twitter for memes and jokes and loads of nonsense, and now like Twitter is like my main networking source, you know. Like I've got like some really stupidly professional Twitter account, which is fine, but like equally, would I have done that if I wasn't in medical school? Unlikely, like probably no.
There's a debate at the moment as to what professionalism is on social media, and a lot of people have different conflicting views on it. But I think most people can agree on things like the extremes, you know, absolutely no film in clinical settings is quite obvious. So giving out medical advice on social media, things like that are absolute no-nos. So I guess in that sense, I wouldn't have ordinarily have done that, but it's made me conscious of it, and therefore it has changed how I use social media.
The thing a couple of years ago where a doctor posted a picture in a bikini and she got attacked on like Instagram for it, and then there was loads of people like resharing it, and it was like, we're just normal people like everyone else, why are we having to act like you're like supposed to be like a moral high ground in society or whatever, but like you're still like a normal person, like you go to the beach like everyone else. As long as you're like professional in your workplace, what does it matter? As long as you're not like
offensive or
breaking the law or doing dodgy stuff.
Because you're a medical student, you're often seen as an extension of a doctor. Like the minute you go to medical school, I think people see you as doctors. Your family does, the public does. Like it's just the way things go. By virtue of being a doctor, by being a highly valued and respected professional, you're expected to uphold that professionalism in your personal life as well. So actually lots of people, you know, make their accounts private, not that they're doing anything wrong, but just because there's a lot of fear about what you say being reported to GMC or being reported to the medical school, for example, and lots of people want to kind of protect themselves of that. And my Instagram, I'm very, very cautious and careful about what I post in my stories, actual, you know, main feeds, just because there is that fear in the back of my mind, actually, is this going to be reported, or am I doing something that's not, you know, correct? Even if I know I'm not, but you just still have that kind of fear, I suppose.
If you were worried that you were posting dodgy stuff, like inappropriate things, like inappropriate comments or anything on social media, you shouldn't have been doing that before med school. Med school shouldn't influence like your like it shouldn't be a reason for you to then start acting like a good person. You should be a good person.
In my circumstance, I think I don't really use social media that much. If there's a nice little picture, if we're going out to Heavenly Dessert, you know what I mean? Bilal will get it on the gram.
Who's Bilal?
I think after both studying public health for a year, we know that social media can have a big impact on people's lives, and it can be a great platform to get through to people, especially young people. But you have to make sure that the information is accurate in anything you do to do with medicine.
People can post what they want on Instagram. You see those Instagram infographics that people share to their stories, and you scroll through and you think, oh, where have you got that information from?
Do you watch any medical student or doctor YouTubers?
No.
Bilal.
I heard he was really bad though.
I actually don't watch many other than, well,
Bilal.
I follow a girl called Faye, and she talks a lot about how like she likes to have like a really good balance in her life, and like uni is not her anything that she's got going on. Like she's got a lot of like YouTube stuff, and she's just like tries to live a very balanced life, which is nice to see, because I feel like sometimes you get the impression that like medics are only doing medicine.
I watch loads of doctor, medical student people. I think it's really weird. I watched them all before going to medical school, and I kind of assumed that the time I'd get here I'd stop, but I still love him. I think that everyone's go-to is Ali Abdaal. Like he's like, you know, the goat of like all med YouTube, I suppose. Who else do I watch? Carmen Medic. I watch quite a lot of like a few London medic people, like smaller accounts. That Medic, extra saucy guy, he's really cool.
Every now and again I watch That Medic. I think he's really cool. I like the way he does his vlogs, and I like the way most of his content is, first of all, he's a surgeon, so I think that's cool. But most of his content, like he shows you when he goes on holiday and does all these cool things, and it just sort of, I think it just kind of shows you, because he's ahead of us by quite a few years, it kind of shows you what's to come. And he talks a lot about sort of his experience in med school after that as well, so like F1, F2, and then in terms of applying to surgery, so his applications, his interviews, and he talks about his exams as well. It just gives you a sort of realistic view about sort of what's to come, and he does it in a really cool way as well.
Ali Abdaal, to be fair, I was watching that in lockdown 1, and he was really pushing people to like make videos and do that stuff, which is why I kind of made this.
Did that inspire you?
Yeah, it did inspire me a little bit to that.
Yeah, so I follow the lifestyle-y medics on Instagram, like Tim Spector, and the food medic as well, to be fair. They're quite interesting. That's good public health knowledge.
I do follow the food medic. Well, I started listening to her podcast, and it's just interesting. She had some interesting takes on women in medicine and like interesting stuff that I hadn't heard much about, like menstrual cycle and exercise and fitness, and like what different parts of your training schedule should fit around your menstrual cycle. So I thought it was really interesting.
I do quite like some of the medical YouTubers, especially like for Anki and stuff. I found that really helpful to watch those kind of tutorials. And I don't mind a medical student vlog.
Yeah.
Which I think you should do.
I think like compared to our days though.
The day in the life of a medical student. Well, I am a medical student.
Yeah.
I know what my day in my life is.
It's more interesting to hear like people chatting and stuff.
Like I don't need to know about your day on placement, or if someone I don't know, like I come home, I have a debrief at home, and well, it's me talking about my day.
And the rest of us half asleep.
Study with me I quite like.
Really?
I like the study with me where it's just someone sitting and I just.
Have you ever
study with
watched
them.
one?
Yeah, I just study like with
Really?
them. Yeah. But I don't necessarily like this is how much work I do in a day. Like I did this many Anki courses. I don't like that level of stress.
I didn't even know these kind of YouTubers.
Like, we'd be lying, all of us, if we say we didn't watch medical student YouTubers.
Yeah.
Like there's people from Kings. Like it can be relatable. Like for example, I'm revising for the biggest exam of my life, the SJT. Failed it. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, it makes me click onto it.
Right,
do you know what I mean?
where medical student YouTubers are great for is like benefiting from their hindsight. That's a huge thing in medicine and medical and surgical training. Learning from people who are ahead of you. So preparing for exams is really helpful. Sort of choosing elective, choosing specialties, whether it's medicine or surgery. Little things that often like you wouldn't know, like sort of how to be a locum and stuff like that, and you know, doing medicine in this country and things like that. And just like education videos is a big part of it. Then there's loads of vlog and leisurely ones. So the medical student / doctor YouTube space is great.
I don't know how they have time for it.
Yeah,
I genuinely could not have time to put together a nice Instagram and all the information that they do for it. But if that's what they enjoy doing, then great. I think it does reach a lot of people, and I think that Instagram can be really good for normalising health conditions and problems, and a way to ask questions. But
especially mental health. That kind of thing.
And also pointing people in the right direction, saying, oh, look at the NHS website, or look at this website, call this number. But anything more than that, people giving out advice,
it's not
specific advice is not great on social media.
Yeah, I think so.
I actually quite like Instagram. I followed like QuesMed and all those.
Oh yeah.
They post like a question every day, and then they give you like the options to like do you know how on the story you can like click the poll answers and it'll tell you whether you've got it right or wrong, and then they just go on to the explanation after, which I found that quite good. Just like quick fire, if you're already scrolling, then you just like getting your brain active again.
There's a lot of medic TikTok and stuff on Instagram as well,
Yeah.
which some of it's quite funny, like all the meme pages as well on Instagram. I will follow that one called like Dexamethasone meme. Some of them are a bit like you're kind of clutching at straws here, but then some of them are actually quite funny.
Yeah, I do watch a lot of like medic TikTok just because I feel like it's all really relatable. Like people just telling just funny stories about things that have happened on placement, like following the consultant into the toilet. You know, like you can just so see that like how that would happen.
Yeah. It's nice because then you all the ones that are like jokey, you kind of like it's nice that everyone else is in the same situation. It's just relatable.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Medic's Instagrams, and some of them are actually really good, and I actually do follow a few like Medic Instagrams, but like more of people that I know, and obviously I like it because it's them telling me about their day and they're my friend. But like me and Aaron always used to joke about people being like updating about their placement, and it's like, I went on the ward round today, got asked one question and didn't speak for the rest of the day. Go me. Like, what are you actually posted on there? Like, we always make jokes like, what are you actually? Some of it you got to take with a pinch of salt, because like, are they really having a great day every day? And if someone was telling me every day how great of a day they had, like, yeah, it makes me think, God, my placement's awful. Like, it just makes me upset, but I don't want that. I think it was after second year, and I came back and I was like, oh my God, and I was like, I want to die. I literally just went and sat in my room, and I was like, Tia, I'm gonna get really upset now. Can we stop?
But yeah, I think I watched quite a few, and I think it's really good to kind of see how medicine's being practiced elsewhere, how other people are learning, and I think there's so much to learn from other people that you can never kind of write off someone's YouTube account where they're actually sharing how they go about things, because actually there might be something in that you pick up for yourself. I think it's really important to be open to that. So yeah, I'm watching.
It's a good way of documenting your journey, I guess, and I feel like looking back in a couple of years' time, you could see sort of where you were when you were in 4th year, 5th year, and how you've come as well, like over time, basically. So I think it's a good thing in terms of documenting.
Yeah, I think it's really good for medics to have something else that they are passionate about and talk about, because again, that just goes and does loads for humanising medical students and doctors. Yeah, we're normal people.